New Smyrna Beach Police Department, Office of Professional Standards, Administration of Oath and Perjury Warning, IA number 2021-006. Officer K. Beatty, ID number 1609. I am Lieutenant Mark Severance with the New Smyrna Beach Police Department. Today's date is Sunday, January 2nd, 2022, and the current time is 17:54 hours. The location of this interview is the Office of Professional Standards Conference Room located at the New Smyrna Beach Police Department. Officer Beatty declined to have union representation or legal counsel present for this interview. Officer Beatty, are you aware this interview is being recorded?
I am.
I'm conducting an official administrative investigation concerning Group 2, Section M, violating the rules, orders, and policies issued and adopted by the City Commission, City Manager, and/or Department Head. Specifically, Policy and Procedure Directive 15-2, which is Preliminary and Follow-up Investigations, Section 15.2.7, Investigative Detentions. As a Florida law enforcement officer and notary public of the state of Florida, I am empowered to take sworn statements. At this time, I would ask that you raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the statement you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Any false statement about material matters given by a witness under oath will constitute perjury, which is a third-degree felony according to Section 837.02 Florida statutes. Do you understand that if you knowingly make material misstatements of facts to me during this investigation, you will have committed the crime of perjury?
I do.
Okay, I'm going to sign this. And I need you to sign and date it down there. January 2nd, 2022. I know I'm going to mess that up writing it. Okay, the next document is the advisement of rights for a disciplinary hearing, otherwise called the Garrity warning. I wish to advise you that you are being questioned as part of an official investigation of the New Smyrna Beach Police Department. You will be asked questions specifically directed and narrowly related to the performance of your official duties or fitness for office. You are entitled to all rights and privileges guaranteed by the laws and the Constitution of this state and the Constitution of the United States, including the right not to be compelled to incriminate yourself. I further wish to advise you that if you refuse to testify or to answer questions relating to the performance of your official duties or fitness for duty, it will be considered an act of insubordination and a violation of a direct order by a superior or competent authority. If you do answer, neither your statements nor any information or evidence which is gained by reason of such statements can be used against you in any subsequent criminal proceeding, except for perjury or obstruction of justice charges. However, these statements may be used against you in relation to subsequent departmental charges. The aforementioned advisement of rights is not the warning in criminal cases under the Miranda decision. As mentioned, Miranda has no application in a disciplinary interview. You understand?
Yeah.
If you would sign, date, and I'll write the location on there. Okay. For the record, please state your name, rank, and current duty assignment.
Officer Beatty, New Smyrna Beach Police Department, Patrol Officer.
What shift do you work?
Delta or Bravo shift.
Bravo
sorry.
shift.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you reviewed the USB drive files, documents, recorded interviews, YouTube videos, BWC videos, Central Dispatch radio recordings, etc. that I provided you on Monday, December 27th, 2021?
I did.
Okay, before we go any further, obviously everything in this particular incident is either captured on our video or the subject's video. So I don't think there's any dispute over what was said, who did what, and what happened at the incident. So as I ask you these questions, you know, if you say something that doesn't agree with the video in the way it was said, I'm not making issue with that. You know, we'll work through that if there's any inconsistencies, you know, because there's no way you could possibly remember everything you said verbatim, okay? So I just want to make that clear for the record. Okay, the first question is, did Officer Galt call you on the phone and request your assistance to a suspicious person call on Tuesday, December 14th, 2021 at the New Smyrna Brewery, which is 143 Canal Street?
I believe he did.
Okay, did you read the call notes while en route to that location?
Briefly.
What did they say?
Skimmed through them. I know we had a male out front of a business, and I believe that the call note says that he was panhandling on private property, but not at this time.
Okay. I think it said he was asking customers for money in front of the business and harassing customers, something to that effect. Okay. When you arrived at the scene, did Officer Galt meet with you and provide you information concerning the call before you spoke with the subject?
I believe I parked across the street.
Okay.
And as I walked across the street, we met halfway.
What did he tell you?
To my recollection, he just said that he wasn't cooperating, and I don't really think he said anything else besides that.
Okay. When you made contact with Mr. Gray, you confirmed that he was on a public sidewalk and told him the business said he was asking for money and that they had every right to have him move along. Is that correct?
I did.
Okay, that brings me to my next question. Is asking for money, or another way to call it, panhandling, in a public place, public sidewalk, is that a crime or a city ordinance violation?
To my knowledge now.
No, I want you to tell me what were you thinking.
When I came to the scene, when I came on the scene, I did think we had a city ordinance. I swore we had a city ordinance.
Okay.
That you weren't allowed to panhandle. Even more so, because I could have sworn that I've been told to enforce that right underneath the Martin Luther King Bridge on the Lytle extension.
Okay.
I've been corrected since then.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I know what you're talking about under the MLK. That's FDOT property. There is a Florida statute, 316-2045, I think, that deals with impeding traffic. It doesn't deal with what they're doing to impede traffic.
Right.
That's a statute, and under the bridge there, we have had FDOT trespass authority for that property, and it's my understanding, we've trespassed people from there and have maybe even made arrests for trespass after warning. Even though they were panhandling, they weren't arrested for panhandling, they were arrested for trespass after warning, okay? All right, so, you went on to say let me go back. The subject was subsequently identified as Jeffrey Gray. So I'm just gonna call him Mr. Gray from this point on, okay? You went on to say that because you're there, and that they called about Mr. Gray, that we have to identify him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What was Mr. Gray's response?
He pulled out refrigerator magnets out of his pocket.
What were they?
I and a D.
So that was his ID.
That was his ID.
Okay. Did you tell him that if he does not provide ID identification, that he would go to jail?
Yes.
Why?
Because at the time I thought we had a crime. I had the manager was standing right next to us, and he was saying that his waitresses were scared to come out and that they felt threatened and that he was on private property asking for money. And what I should have done was investigated that first.
Okay.
Before detaining him and moving him across the street.
Okay.
Because when I went back and asked the manager more particulars about what he was talking about, I believe it's my BWC video, I explained the whole thing to him. I'm like, none of that is illegal.
Okay. We'll cover that a little bit later as well. So up to this point, when you asked for ID, Up to this point in your investigation, did you have any reasonable or articulable suspicion that Mr. Gray was committing, or was about to commit a crime or violation of city ordinance?
I did.
What crime were you thinking of?
That he was either trespassing or assault, but that's just based off of what the manager was saying. He was saying that his waitresses were being threatened, or felt threatened.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall hearing anything about that from the person, but like I said, I'm not going to go over the video line by line about what was said, but it's a matter of record already. So, is holding a cardboard sign saying "God bless the homeless vets" on a public sidewalk, or asking for money, or panhandling a crime or city ordinance violation?
No.
You've learned that since this incident?
Well,
right?
For the panhandling part.
Okay.
I knew everything else was not.
Okay, so holding the sign on a public sidewalk, no issue, right?
No.
It didn't say anything about money or anything, okay. Did Mr. Gray ask if he was being detained?
Yes,
What did you tell him?
that he was.
Can you tell me why you decided to detain Mr. Gray?
Well, it was in front of a restaurant that was open and full, and I didn't want to make the scene because he was being not aggressive, just argumentative and defiant. So I wanted to take him across the street so that we can figure out what was going on without creating more of a scene
Okay,
in front of the restaurant.
so at this point, you're still under the impression that you're acting under your authority.
I 100% thought we had a city ordinance.
As you moved to detain Mr. Gray, did he tell you that he was armed lawfully and had a concealed weapons permit?
No. Yes and no. He said he was armed. He said he